When a disheveled old man shuffled into the fine jewelry store, the staff dismissed him as just another curious onlooker and eventually kicked him out. Little did they know that the man's worn appearance hid something more precious than any jewel. Chevalier, the fine jewelry store, was unusually quiet that New York morning, while the showroom dazzled with gold and gems priced for the impossibly wealthy. The staff waited eagerly for the next customer. Those who entered moved with an air of belonging. At ease in this world of exclusive luxury, the staff were good at their jobs. They could spot a potential buyer at a glance, recognizing designer labels and subtle signs of wealth. This man, with his hunched back and shabby clothes, offered no such clues. Their interest faded as soon as they set eyes on him. He might be lost, mistaking the store for something else. His unusual behavior was the mystery of his name. Was Walter Smith, a tired man in his 80s. He had come with a purpose. Every slow step carried the weight of a love he wouldn't forget. He approached the front desk and set down a worn canvas bag. "Please take a look at this," he asked. The receptionist, practiced smile, couldn't quite hide her disgust. Walter circled the displays, his worn shoes squeaking on the pristine marble. He looked focused, not just dazzled. The staff watched in silent amusement. This old man, out of place and out of time. He probably didn't know his own name, let alone the names of the famous jewelers around him. His clothes said it all. Faded flannel shirt, loose jeans worn at the cuffs, and a misshapen hat meant for sun protection, not style. He clashed with the polished elegance of the store. The staff exchanged glances, hiding their unspoken judgments. This was a place where dreams had price tags, not sentimental value. The old man moved slowly, examining each piece with care. Finally, his gaze settled on a necklace that seemed to hold the warmth of a stolen sunset. "What is the story behind these stones? Their color? It's unlike anything I've ever seen." Walter rasped, his voice barely a whisper over the piped-in classroom music. "Sarah," one of the senior sales managers explained. "These were rare Burmese rubies, known for their intense pigeon blood. Red, almost alive with a fiery glow." She went on to technical details about their rarity in the trade. But his eyes remained fixed on the necklace itself and its price. Walter's voice cracked slightly at the audacity of his question. Sarah quoted a number. "An unimaginable sum for a man like Walter," she added. "But this part is technically on hold. Perhaps I can show you more." The unspoken word appropriate hung in the air. "But why? There's a price tag on the necklace. Doesn't that mean it's for sale?" The old man objected. He felt the senior manager's disdainful look. "Sir, I don't know your name, but it doesn't matter. This necklace is already spoken for, and with rising costs, it may be out of your price range. Anyway, maybe you'd have better luck with something less extravagant," said the sales manager. She turned away, relieved to have dismissed the old man so easily. Disappointment flickered across Walter's face, but he quickly overcame it. "No, thank you," he muttered, shuffling away as he turned, his canvas bag lying forgotten on the floor. A piece of trash in this fancy world. He didn't notice the sales clerk giggling behind him, or the way they kicked his bag out of sight. A wordless insult. Only one young employee, Elliot, saw the sadness in the old man's eyes. He felt sorry for him. Just as the heavy glass doors closed behind him, Walter, Elliot, hurried after him, the battered bag in his hand. "Sir, you forgot this," he called. Walter hadn't gone far. His steps were slow and heavy. Elliot touched the old man's shoulder. Gently, Walter saw a flicker of surprise and something like shame in his eyes. "You left this behind?" Elliot said, holding out the well-worn canvas bag, then immediately added, "And please, sir, accept my apologies for my colleagues' behavior. They completely misjudged you." Walter, taken aback by the young man's kindness, managed a faint smile. He opened the bag, revealing neat stacks of bills, crumpled, well-used, but an astonishing amount. Elliot gasped, puzzled and curious with quiet strength. The old man started his story. Years of collecting discarded bottles and cans, taking them to recycling centers. Every cent painstakingly saved. Not for himself, but for his wife, Mary. She had adored a particular necklace in Chevalier's window, made of beautiful sapphires and diamonds, like a piece of the twilight sky. It was an impossible dream, made worse by rising prices. Walter's voice broke as he explained. Their house had been sold to pay for Mary's cancer treatment. They accepted the trailer park as their new reality. But her illness was relentless with what little he could earn. His savings had once seemed enough for the necklace. But now his dream for Mary was unattainable. Elliot listened intently. He, too, knew the pain of delayed dreams. His own savings for a down payment on an apartment had come from sacrifices, from working overtime, from giving up, from going out with friends. But Walter's love, his sacrifice, put things into perspective after he walked Walter home. Elliot couldn't forget the heartbroken look on Walter's face as he left the jewelry store empty-handed. He was deeply moved by the old man's story. He had to help, but his own savings were meant for an apartment. Still, seeing Walter's empty hands made him uneasy. Elliot made a quick decision, driven by a feeling too strong to ignore. With a mixture of nerves and determination. Late that night, he gathered his hard-earned money. A small package in his hand. Elliot knocked on Walter's trailer door. "Here's what you need," he said. "Hand over the money. Buy Mary that necklace. It's hers." Tears welled up in Walter's eyes. Not from sadness, but from the shock of relief. And the man's kindness. The next day, Walter returned to Chevalier Fine Jewelry. This time, the staff recognized him, but with a mixture of surprise and confusion. Gone was the disheveled man of yesterday. His clothes were carefully pressed, his shoes polished, showing the importance of this moment. He held the same worn canvas bag with newfound pride. Sarah, who had dismissed him earlier, approached cautiously, but before she could speak, Walter opened the bag and counted out the exact amount for the necklace. Her eyes widened as he carefully counted out the exact amount for the necklace. The showroom fell silent. Everyone was watching this shocking turn of events. After carefully inspecting the necklace, Walter bought it. Even those who had mocked him felt a tinge of respect. Elliot watched from a distance, not with envy, but with satisfaction. Walter's joy was worth more than any jewel, and Chevalier Walter almost floated home. The necklace box in his weathered hand felt unbearably heavy with love and loss. Inside, he smiled, then gently took Mary's hand with a touch of his help. She shuffled slowly outside. Her steps were weak from the illness. He gestured to a small patch of dirt where a warning swing stood, the only thing left of the house they'd sold. Mary looked at him, her fingers trembling in confusion. Walter opened the box. Light caught the sapphires, making them glow even under the dull sky. Mary gasped. Her eyes. They reflected the twilight blue of the gems. "My love," Walter said, his voice thick with emotion. "This was always meant for you with infinite care." He fastened the chain around her neck. Mary touched it. Tears flowed. "Oh, Walter," she murmured, "I feel like a queen. It's perfect for one precious hour." The necklace brought back a spark of the woman Mary once was. She laughed, something Walter hadn't heard in years, a moment when her illness seemed far away. The sun dipped below the horizon as they sat on the old swing, holding hands. Mary died peacefully. The next day, the memory of the joy the necklace had brought would stay with Walter and give him some comfort. Walter finally returned to Chevalier. He smiled when he saw Elliot. A hint of his old mischievous self, Elliot said, "I may have found a misplaced buyer willing to pay full price for an exquisite necklace." He winked. Then he continued, "Let's just say it's Mary's way of giving you a helping hand. Consider it a bonus. And with your work ethic, I know this place won't be a dream for long." He knew the sacrifice Elliot had made, and he wanted to honor it. It was a reminder that even in the midst of our struggles, kindness has the power to make a difference. Treat every person you meet with kindness and respect, for you never know the weight on their hearts or the storms in their souls. So in a world where you can be anything, be kind,